What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a secret TBR vlog and I am going to be reading a booktuber's favorite books. So for this video, I'm going to be reading Jessie from Reading with Jess, her favorite books. And I am so excited because Jessie reads the same type of books that I do. So she's a really big lover of thrillers. And I wouldn't say that we have the exact taste in thrillers. There are like some disagreements that we have, but I do think that I'm going to like these ones that I picked that were her favorites. So the first one I'm going to start out with is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. Whoops, sorry, I'm at work right now. I'm about to clean the turbo, but I wanted to film this intro because I'm about to start this book. So The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. A lot of people say that this is similar to Baby Teeth, which I have read and didn't like, but they say that this one is so much better. So I think this is about a child. It says, oh, I guess it's adoptive parents, and I guess that they adopt this child, and then the child, I guess, might be like, not really evil, but like maybe like naughty and stuff. I'm not exactly sure, but that was like the premise of Baby Teeth, and since people said it was similar, I'm going into it thinking that it's like that. But I'm going to listen to it on Scribd, because with me cleaning the turbo, I have an hour and a half where I literally am just like scrubbing and cleaning, and I brought my Bluetooth headphones so I can just, you know, like chill out and listen. Where are they? Let's hope I brought them. Here they are. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be listening to that, and then the other books that I'm going to be reading throughout this vlog are The Wife Upstairs, which this was actually on Jessie's like favorites of 2020 list.
But that is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This was such a surprise for me. Like, I'm so shocked this actually made the list, but I loved this book.
It did just come out at the end of 2020, I think, or if you had book of the month, it came out early, and she really loved this. This is a Jane Eyre retelling. I actually haven't even read Jane Eyre, and a lot of people say it was just done so well, but it is a thriller. Like, I don't know. I guess I just don't really know what Jane Eyre is. That just shows how I am not, what would that be called? I don't even know. I just don't know. I don't like classics, okay? So anyway, that's another one of her favorites. And then the last book that I'm going to be reading for this vlog is For Better and Worse, which she has been telling me to read this book for so long. Like literally, I think it's been like 2 years that she's been telling me to read this book, and I keep not picking it up. And I'm very excited because I actually haven't read anything by Margot Hunt yet. And supposedly this is like one of Margot Hunt's better books, and I think it's a domestic thriller, which you guys know I love, so I am so excited. Anyway, like, I'm looking out over the field. I'm at work, and so I work at a college, by the way, and I work in like a little cafe restaurant area, but it's so nice to like look out over the field, you know, on a nice sunny day, or when it's snowing out. It looks really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my mask on and clean the turbo and all that kind of stuff, and I will update you guys when I have some thoughts about The Perfect Child. Also, yeah, go follow Jessie if you haven't yet. She is a fantastic YouTuber, and if you like my type of content, you're definitely gonna like her content. So I have her link down below to her channel, so make sure you go check her out. Just finished cleaning the turbo. It's super clean, and I've been listening to The Perfect Child. Let's see how far I am. It says I have 8 hours left. It doesn't do like a whole percentage. I always forget that it's different than like the Libby app, but I think it was at 10 hours when I first started, so that was a good amount. But so far it is interesting. I wouldn't say I'm like in love with it yet, but it reminds me of being a foster parent so much because it's actually about this couple who are both doctors, and this little like girl, something had like, she was like abused and starved and a bunch of this stuff, and she goes to the hospital after being like picked up and stuff, and these doctors are kind of like almost starting to become like her foster parents. Like they care a lot about her, and they just took her back to like their house to have like a visitation because everything's been going really well. I think she's 6, and anyway, like things have been going really well, and they're about to like become her foster parents, and literally she like freaks out when they take her to their house because she wants to have food. Like she goes straight to the fridge and she wants to have food, and they're not allowed to like have her eat because she has to be on a specific eating schedule because she was like starved so much that if you let them like overeat, they'll just get sick, and that can like cause her, like she went into cardiac arrest the one time. So they were like, I'm sorry, like, you know, it's not time to eat, we can't give you anything. And she literally like has this like crazy attack and is just like screaming at the top of her lungs and like banging her head on the floor and, you know, like all this kind of stuff. And literally, I mean, that's exactly how it was when I got the one little foster boy a couple months ago. And it's like, you literally just don't know what to do in that type of situation. And so this child is dealing with a lot of trauma. So it's interesting to read like a fiction thriller book that literally reminds me of like my own experience with having the little foster boys. So it is kind of like really nice. I feel like I can, I guess, relate to these characters, especially because they deal with infertility, and there's multiple different quotes that I want to write down. I'm gonna go back to the physical book and write down the quotes about infertility, which I do think is really cool. So hopefully I do end up liking it. Like I hope it stays very fast-paced. And I hope it doesn't just go with like, I don't know, I just hope it doesn't turn into Baby Teeth, because so far the storyline is more interesting than Baby Teeth. And so I am enjoying what I've listened to so far. But again, I'm only like 2 hours in, I have 8 hours left. So there's still a lot more of the story, because I really want to figure out like how did the little girl end up like that? Like who did that to her? That's what I'm really interested in. So it's another day, I'm at work, but I didn't bring my camera today. I'm actually filming on my phone like I used to do. And I think I'm still about like a quarter of the way in the book. I don't know, I think it's like a 10-hour book, and I think I'm at like maybe like 6 or 7 hours that I have left. But anyway, I wanted to like make a note about what I didn't like about Baby Teeth, and what I also am not enjoying. I mean, it's not bad, like it's just like one of my pet peeves in these types of books is the fact that the parents aren't on the same page with each other. So I don't like that the dad is like not really on the side of the mom when they're dealing with like a naughty child. And so even the therapist is like telling the dad like, okay, you need to like, you know, do this or not do this so that way you can like support your wife. And he like only cares about the child. And like this child sounds so much like the child that I fostered, and it blows my mind that the parents can be like on two different like mindsets. Like this little girl is not like talking to the mom, she's not being nice to the mom, and that's kind of what happened in Baby Teeth also. But she's like really nice to the dad and will talk to the dad, and the therapist is even saying that like, you know, that is an issue, like she saw it happen, and it's because this girl's like real mom, not like the foster parents, but the real mom, but had like abused the child, or that's what they think happened, and so she's just kind of like acting out that way. The therapist told like the dad, I don't know what their names are, I forget what their names are, but like when they're tucking the little girl, I think her name is Janie, into bed, that if she doesn't say goodnight to Hannah, I think is the mom, then like he shouldn't say goodnight to her, because you need to show that you're like one team, and that if you're being mean to the mom, that's also hurting you as a dad also, and that like that's not okay. And like the dad is like, oh no, like I'm not gonna do that, like, you know, I'm all for the little girl, I'm all for Janie. And it's like, excuse me, like you also need to care about your wife and her feelings, and make sure that this little kid isn't doing anything like, you know, bad or mean to her. You know, I guess this does happen to people where like, you know, a husband and wife aren't on like the same side and they're like struggling with that. But with me and Alvin, like when Alvin came home from work and I told him everything about the little foster boy that we had, And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, he was right. Like, it's not that he didn't believe me, but like, he was right on the same page as me and was like, if you don't think that you can do this, then like, you know, I understand. And then he had 2 days off with me and was like, okay, yeah, like, this is a thing, I can totally see it. But like, he wasn't sitting there being like, no, like, you know, you just can't put up with it, like, you're a liar or anything like that. So I don't know, I just don't like that the books do this, but I guess there are these situations, and I feel sorry for the people that are in these situations that don't have a supportive spouse. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think I literally have like 20 pages left of The Perfect Child. I am so obsessed with it, and I just want to finish it and figure out what's going on. Alexa, turn the light on. Anyway, because like, I've been at work the last couple days and I've stayed over because we've just been like so busy and stuff. And I listened to it while I was like cleaning the turbo. I listened to it on my break. I listened to it on my drive. And so literally like my drive home, I was listening to like the last little bit. I have just a little bit left and I just want to know what happens. Like, it is so good, and I can't believe that this is only the second book I've read of 2021. I always forget the one part, and I think it's gonna be a 5-star depending upon like how it ends. My heart is like pounding listening to it and reading it. It's so good, and I almost finished it last night, but because I had to work a long shift and be up early today, I couldn't. Like, I had 100 pages left last night and I just couldn't. But I'm going to run a bath and finish it because I just need to finish it. And then I'm gonna start, I think I'm gonna start For Better or Worse. It's either that or The Wife Upstairs. I'm not sure what I want to start, but I'm going to just go ahead and hop right into a new book, I think right after finishing this one. Okay, I did it. I finished The Perfect Child, and I'm going to rate it 4.5 stars because I was a little, just slightly disappointed with the ending. I thought it was going somewhere else, and then it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. And there were a lot of twists in this book, which I loved. It kept like my heart beating. It kept me interested and intrigued. But the problem with that is sometimes an author will put twists throughout the book and then there won't be like an end twist. And I think that I just am always expecting there to be an end twist. So my enjoyment of the book then goes down when I'm like trying to read and read and read. And I'm like, oh, this is the end and nothing else like crazy happened. So that's just like, you know, how I go into thrillers. But this was an amazing book. I also love just how much attention was brought to infertility and the foster care system. Everything that was talked about with those two situations is all true. Like, nothing is out of the ordinary. Everything is exactly like how it is talked about in the book. And I think that I also enjoyed this book a lot just because my own experience in foster care was with a child that was very much like the child in this book. So I think that that was also where I just felt like I could relate to Hannah and just like her want of like, I physically cannot take care of this child any longer, you know, that type of thing. So yeah, it was a very, very, very good book. And I do think like it is definitely a good thriller recommendation. And Jessie, thank you for also really liking it so I could put it in this video. She had been begging me to read that for like forever. And this next book, For Better and Worse, she also has been begging me to read for a long time. So I actually don't know much about this, so let's see what this is about. It says, on their first date back in law school, Natalie and Will bonded over drinks, dinner, and whether they could get away with murder. Now married, they'll put the latter to the test when an unchecked danger in their community places their son in jeopardy. Working as a criminal defense attorney, Nat refuses to rely on the broken legal system, and to keep her family safe, she knows that if you want justice, you have to get it yourself. And then like the husband is like shocked that she's like gonna do something. And what, like, I don't know. It actually doesn't really sound like something that I would like, but I guess we'll take a stab at it. Welcome back to another day that I forgot my camera, but another day that I'm cleaning the turbo. I've been working, this is my 6th day in a row, so I've just been going through these books. I'm so sorry that like, it's literally feels like the same thing from the last time I updated you guys. but I started listening to For Better and Worse, and I've been listening to it for about an hour now, and I'm actually enjoying it. It's different than what the synopsis was making it seem like. So we have like this married couple, and one of them, the wife is a defense attorney, and the school that their son goes to, like he's like 11, but the school that he goes to, the principal has been like allegedly accused of like sexually abusing one of the students that's at the school. And so right now, like they're trying to figure out, like, is that true? Because the person that like was allegedly sexually abused is a foster child that I guess kind of like started fires at the school before and was doing like naughty things before. And so it's actually kind of interesting that both the last book and this book talks about foster children. Like, I mean, I really, really like that. But this one is a little bit more kind of like putting almost like a negative connotation with the foster child, because like some people are saying like, oh, it's a foster child, he's naughty, he's bad. Like, of course he lied about the principal like sexually abusing him. And other people are like, well, no, like that's not, like, you know, you need to believe people when they say that. So there's like a criminal investigation that's about to happen because of it. But then also the defense attorney, like her husband is being like shady, like on his phone and stuff, and he used to never have a password, and now he's on his phone all the time and has a password and stuff. So there's like a couple different things going on, and so it's actually very interesting, and I am liking it at the moment. So I have to work like a whole shift today, and then I do have to edit a video, so I'm not sure if I'll have time to like listen or read more of it today. But then tomorrow I will be closing, so I might be able to get to some of it in the morning, and then if not, I have 2 days off then, Wednesday, Thursday, so I do really want to finish it. But so far I'm surprised. It's way more than what the synopsis was making it seem like, which I'm glad, because I wasn't very intrigued by the synopsis. Hello. Okay, I am back at home. I did a Walmart pickup order and just put all the groceries away and stuff. What time is it? It is, I can't figure out, all my oven is being used, my microwave is being used. It is 6:30. So I'm actually, because I'm waiting on dinner to be cooked in the oven, I am going to take a bath, and I'm actually going to finish this book. Like, can you guys believe it? So For Better and Worse, I've been listening to the audiobook all day actually, because I listened to a bunch of it when I was cleaning the turbo this morning at work, and then I was prepping for a couple hours, and so I was able to listen to it while I was prepping, because like I wasn't talking to customers or anything. I was just cutting up like tomatoes and cucumbers and broccoli and all that. And then I listened to it during my break, and then all the way home when I was doing the Walmart pickup order, while I was putting the groceries away, while I was cooking dinner. So that was really cool, because I'm literally gonna finish a book in a whole day, even though I work today. Like, that is crazy. It also is really, really good. I am loving it, and like, I think I am literally blowing my mind, because this is the third book that I have read this year, and I'm going to also rate it within the 4 to 5 star range, depending upon the ending. So to think that I have read 3 very incredible books already in 2021, like, is this what the year is going to be like? I don't know, but I am very excited to finish it, and then I will like kind of sit down and kind of tell you guys all about it, because obviously without spoilers, but I feel like I've kind of been like rushing all day long and haven't been able to tell you guys my like actual thoughts about everything, or really what the book is about. So I'll do that like after I finish it, and then I need to like write it in my little bullet journal and all my thoughts that I have. But yeah, so I'm going to relax in a bath, because I've just been going all day long. And I just got Epsom salts at Walmart because I was out of them, so it's gonna be a very nice relaxing bath. I am so excited. I don't think that I ever did update you guys on my like review and thoughts of For Better and Worse, and I just took the time now because I actually had off today and I was getting a lot of work done, and I'm about to go make dinner and listen to my third book that I was listening to. But I filled out my journal, so I have my review for The Perfect Child, which you guys know I rated 4.5 stars, and then I wrote my review for Better and Worse, and then I started my page for The Wife Upstairs. Highly recommend putting like your notes and everything in your bullet journal, and kind of having like a reading journal and stuff. It's so cool, and I can't wait like when I get further into the year and I'm just like, you know, you'd like forget like what you've read and stuff. I feel like this is really great to go back and read like my thoughts on the books that I've been reading. So for The Better and Worse by Margot Hunt, I'm actually gonna rate this 4 stars. It was very good. I literally listened to the whole book in one day. So I started it when I went to work in the morning, and then I finished it like the last half an hour while I was like laying in bed trying to like fall asleep. And yeah, it was so intriguing. So it's actually like the synopsis doesn't do it justice. I feel like it's so much more than what the synopsis makes it seem, but it's about Natalie and Will, and they did talk about like on their date, they were joking about how they could get away with murder because she's a defense attorney, and you know, she was like, we're way smarter than like all of the criminals. It fast forwards to in the future, they do have an 11-year-old son, and the principal at their son's school is like, they say allegedly like being charged, I guess, with sexual harassment of a 13-year-old boy who is also a foster child, which I'm actually like listening to The Wife Upstairs right now, and in all 3 of these books, it all talks about foster children, which is so crazy. I don't think I've ever read a fiction book that had foster children in it, so this is so interesting that all 3 of these do. But this foster boy has like a bad reputation, so he's like started fires at the school and done stuff like that, and supposedly he made the comment to the principal that he was going to get him back. So the principal is saying like, no, this is totally a lie. I didn't do this to this foster boy. And like Natalie and Will actually used to be friends with the principal before he was divorced. So like a lot of people are friends with him, and they're like, yeah, there's no way. Like the foster boy is lying. It's because he came from a bad background. So I understand like that point of view, and I really like that like they brought that point of view into this book. I think that that was really, you know, a good part, because we even have like Natalie talking to the foster boys, like foster parents, and how like they are like, hey, you're not like, you can't judge people for like their backgrounds. Like what their background is doesn't matter. Like if he's saying that this happened, like we have to believe that this happened, and you shouldn't be judging him because of his background. So there are like, you know, it does talk about kind of like rape and obviously like child abuse and all that kind of stuff. So definitely, you know, check out any trigger warnings for that. Fast forward even more, Natalie is like researching about how to commit a murder, because obviously she's angry about something, and is like, I think I need to murder somebody. And that was like very interesting to me. I loved how Natalie was like researching everything, figuring out what she would need, what to be done differently from other people, how to not get caught. That was like the most intriguing part of the book, I think. And then obviously there's a lot more stuff that happens, and it is very interesting, but I was hoping for the ending to be a little bit more, what did I write in my review here? I was hoping for a more messy ending. That's what I put, because to me the ending just kind of seemed like very much like tied up into a nice pretty bow, and I wish that the ending would have been like messy. And so yeah, that's the only reason why I rated it 4 stars out of 5, but it was definitely a very, very good book. If you like want to kind of dip your toes into a little bit of like crime thrillers, or you don't like crime thrillers because of all the like extra like boring legal talk that they talk about, I feel like this one is a very good like light crime thriller, because I don't like crime thrillers, but this one was more obviously domestic, but with her being like a defense attorney, I felt like it did have a little bit of a vibe of a crime thriller, which I really liked. And then of course, with the more like dark, hard-hitting topics, I felt like this was definitely a thriller that had a little bit more important topics compared to some thrillers. You know, obviously it's just kind of like murder and stuff, whereas this one kind of talked about like what would happen. I guess the whole thing, like I can't really say, but like Natalie kind of explained, like even for the foster boy, like what would happen if, for instance, the principal was guilty or not guilty. Like his reputation is going to be tarnished even if he's innocent. Like even if you get proved innocent, your reputation is tarnished because people are just always going to assume that you did sexually harass somebody. But what's bad for like the foster boy is that like when they're being questioned and stuff, like that is very like traumatic for them, and it just really goes into the depths of like what a child goes through when they deal with something like that, and then going to like the law and having the law handle it. So all of those parts were like super intriguing, and I did really love this book. I don't know, I did really love like The Perfect Child and this book a lot. Like those were actually very good books. And so yeah, so now I'm listening to The Wife Upstairs. I don't know how far I am into it. I'll have to look, but I don't have too many thoughts about it yet, but I will update you guys when I do. I'm gonna go make some dinner. Okay, what is this? I came down to make dinner and got something from Macmillan. Let's see what they decided to send me. Oh my gosh. I am the luckiest girl on the planet. Look at that. Oh my gosh, they sent me a finished copy. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Oh, and there's like stuff in here. Oh my gosh. It's like 2 little stickers, I think. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. It says, "Are you ready to belong?" Is this her signature? Wow, this is so awesome. It says, "You have been chosen." This is a cult, like YA cult thriller thing, I think, or something like that. So I am so excited. This was on my most anticipated list, and oh my gosh, thank you so much for sending this to me. This is so awesome and so nice. Hello, let's pretend that I don't look like I'm in my pajamas, even though I kind of am. But it's because I closed tonight, and so I was literally just like editing a bunch before going into work, and yeah, I'm not like in work clothes or anything yet, and I don't have to be. So I did finish The Wife Upstairs yesterday. I was listening to the rest of it on audio, so I was reading like the physical book, and I had gotten the audiobook on Libro FM, which is an audiobook like service where they actually are like using audiobooks from independent bookstores, so you can like pick which independent bookstore that you want to get the audiobook from. It's very comparable to Audible, which Audible is owned by Amazon, so if you're looking for more of like an independent company to support, I'll have my code down below if you want to check it out, because I think you do get a free audiobook with that link. And I also really like them because I was able to like change the speed. It goes from like literally very small increments, so it's like 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, all the way up like way past 3. I think it goes to like 4 or something like that, which I've never listened to something that fast. But with The Wife Upstairs, I'm going to give it 3 stars. It definitely was not my favorite of all of these books that I've read. I was a little underwhelmed by it. I don't know if it's because like I just hyped it up so much in my head or what it was, but this one was just like not it was just like a decent domestic thriller, if that makes sense. I have heard that it is a Jane Eyre retelling, but I don't know anything about Jane Eyre, so I'm not sure if that's true. I also don't really think that it's comparable to The Last Mrs. Parrish. I have heard some people saying that, but I don't agree with that comparison. This is a like Southern goth book, so it reminded me so much of the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. So if you have read that book and you absolutely loved it, then I actually think that you would like this vibe of The Wife Upstairs, because it was so similar, like just the whole like Southern charm and gossip and everything. But I am not like a huge fan of the South. I'm actually from Pennsylvania, so I don't really like that Southern charm, so I don't think that it charms me. Reading one book for like the rest of my life that has the Southern charm is fine with me, so I was not impressed by that. This is about Jane, who is broke and used to be a foster child back in the day, and she walks dogs for a living. So she actually moved to like a rich Southern neighborhood so that way she can like steal jewelry from a lot of the housewives and they're not gonna notice. So she actually bumps into this widowed man named Eddie. A relationship kind of starts ensuing, and she like starts pursuing that because of the fact that he's like very rich. His wife B died in a boat accident and like left her like fortune or whatever to him. So Jane's like, okay, yeah, totally gonna take that fortune from him. But she does actually kind of like fall in love with him, I think. I'm not, you know, I honestly don't even know if it was fake or if that was real. Who even knows? The problem with that though is like she's kind of taking over as like, you know, B's replacement. I guess that's where kind of people think that this is like The Last Mrs. Parrish. But like she moves into the house with Eddie, and like I guess she kind of starts dressing like B a little bit, but B's legacy is kind of like haunting her because she keeps hearing like more of this gossip from B's old friends who are now her friends. And so like she is thinking like, okay, what actually happened with this? So the problems that I had with this book, I thought that the timelines were very confusing. Maybe it's because I wasn't always reading the physical copy, but it would like change like this many months before this person and this many months after this person. And I was like, I don't understand how this has to do with anything. So that was a little confusing. I also thought that B and her friend Blanche were like very easy to mix up. I don't know if it's because they both had B names, but they kind of seemed like the exact same person. And so I was like a lot of times confused with that. I also feel like this book should not be called The Wife Upstairs, because there's like, that could have been a very big twist, and it wasn't, because obviously you knew that the wife was upstairs and there were chapters like talking about it. And I just feel like that could have been like a very good point of like a twist of like, oh my gosh, who knew that she was like there? You know what I mean? But like that was such a huge thing that got taken out that could have been like, obviously I already knew. Like it wasn't even just like guessing the twist. Like the book is literally called The Wife Upstairs. So I feel like that should have been changed. Compared to the last two books that I read, I did not like the characters in The Wife Upstairs. I felt like with the other books I could like connect with the characters, whether or not they were good people or bad people, because a lot of times, you know, in thrillers they're not great people. But I felt like I could like understand where they were coming from, or I thought that they were like very smart, or I liked their personality. But with this one, I just didn't connect with anybody. And I think that's another reason why I was kind of just confused. Like I didn't like Jane as a person. I didn't like Eddie. I didn't like B. I didn't like Blanche. I didn't like Trip. Like I didn't like anybody in this book. And that could also be the reason why I just didn't enjoy the storyline. The ending was lazy in my opinion. I'm actually surprised I'm rating this 3 stars, because like everything that I'm saying makes it sound like it was like a terrible thriller. It actually isn't a terrible thriller. I do see how people could really like this book, but for me, it definitely just had like, I kind of was nitpicking all of this stuff, and I was like, this is why I'm not getting like full enjoyment out of it, if that makes sense. But I did not enjoy the ending. I thought that it was lazy the way that it was put together. It was open-ended, but in like the wrong way, if that makes sense. And again, like I was just kind of very confused with like all the relationships that were happening. But anyway, that is my thoughts on The Wife Upstairs. I would love to know if you liked it or didn't like it, as well as the other 2 books. If you have not read The Perfect Child or For Better and Worse, like you have to go read them, because they were very good. Even though I didn't give them a full 5 stars, like I've still been thinking about them in my head, so that could change in the future. I could up my rating depending upon how long they stick with me. Whereas The Wife Upstairs, like I'm not even gonna remember anything about this in like a week or so, and I'm not gonna care about this book. But definitely the first two books are very, very good. I am just very particular with my 5-star reads. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Definitely make sure that you go follow Jessie over on her channel, because she's the one that told me about these books and said for me to read them. And I think that this was a very successful vlog. But that's it. I will see you guys very soon in another video. Bye everyone.